Put some respect on his name, the god of destruction Toppo is finally here. 17 is becoming a very serious candidate for MVP of the tournament. Frieza is taking a much needed nap after that punishment from Toppo, and Goku and Vegeta are still BGing around with Jiren. That is a staying alive reference. For those of you who don't get it, you better keep up, because this is my review for Dragon Ball Super episode 125. Let's get it! So we are now entering the final stage of the tournament. There are only 5 minutes left. We are still down to only 4 against 2. It is Goku, Vegeta, 17, and Frieza versus Jiren and Toppo. And I gotta be really honest with you guys, I was blown away by this week's episode. I was not expecting it at all whatsoever. I thought it was gonna be a whatever episode, because I knew that next week for 126 was going to be really great. So I thought this was just going to be something just to hold us over until then. And boy, was I wrong. I was so blown away by how good this episode was. They really delivered on a lot of fronts. The animation was really good, especially after Toppo got his God of Destruction form. The animation went to a whole nother level. We got a lot of really cool scenes out of that. It was definitely action-packed. I really enjoyed the pace of the episode. I never felt like there was downtime. The whole time I was really engaged in the episode. I felt like I was on the edge of my seat a lot of it, trying to see what was going to happen next. Also, I think they did a really good job at setting up for next week's episode. You know, I feel everyone's really hyped to see what the God of Destruction Toppo is going to do against someone like Vegeta, because we know, yeah, that 17 has turned out to be very strong, and we know that Golden Frieza is crazy strong. But we know that they're both not on the same level as Vegeta right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see what is going to happen next week in that episode. Now, before we start digging into the actual episode, I want to go ahead and give the rating for this week's episode. Now, if you're new to my reviews, it's a very simple rating system. It's just based on a scale of 1 to 7. And like I said before, I was expecting this week to be maybe a 5. And I knew that Toppo was going to get his God of Destruction form, but I just thought maybe that was going to be at the end of the episode. That's how they were going to leave us, with a little cliffhanger. But that wasn't the case, and they gave it to us early. And they pretty much did for Toppo what I wanted them to do with Vegeta when Vegeta got his new form. So with that and everything else that I said before, with all the animation, the pace, and all that stuff, I'm going to go ahead and say that this was definitely a 6-star episode. Now, maybe if we would have got maybe an elimination, or even if maybe there would have been a little bit more of a fight put up against Toppo, but just the fact that Toppo got this new form and he just started powerhousing everyone, it was exciting, but at the same time, it kind of wasn't. Like, if Frieza would have at least put up some kind of fight, been able to do something, it would have been a lot cooler for me. But like I said, this is just my rating. Go ahead and comment down below your guys' thoughts on what you guys think this episode should have been rated. But now let's get into like the nitty gritty of the episode. Let's talk about what made this episode so good. So right off the bat, I love that even though Jiren versus Goku and Vegeta aren't the focus point of this week's episode, they don't ignore that, and they continue to show what's happening with them at the same time. Like, they don't need to do that kind of stuff. And this is the kind of stuff that I wish they would have been doing the entire tournament, instead of focusing on one fight at a time. And I get that now that, you know, there's such few fighters left that they have that freedom to do that. But it's just something that I really appreciate, and I'm glad that they're continuously doing. Now, granted, they're not really showing much, but it's just the fact that they're at least acknowledging that it's happening. Oh, and real quick, before I move on to talk about Frieza and 17 and stuff, I want to point out again that every single time the spoilers contain any kind of info concerning Frieza, they're almost always off. Now, granted, they aren't major things that they're like information that they're off by, but it's still just very interesting that it just seems every time it concerns Frieza, there's just something wrong with the information. Like, we were told that Toppo was going to rain fierce blows down upon the Universe 7 contestants, and he didn't. He only did that to Frieza. It also said that Frieza was going to be using his psychic abilities and 17 was going to be attacking with rocks. Neither of those two things happened. And even just the way they describe how he transforms into his God of Destruction form, they kind of word it as if like it's almost like Goku's Ultra Instinct thing, like where something's just happening to him. But in reality, it was a choice. It was something that he chose to do when he realized, this is my only option out of this. And that kind of brings me to my next thing that I want to talk about, where I saw a lot of people asking, well, why didn't Toppo just do this earlier in the tournament? And the thing is, you have to understand that I don't think this is something that Toppo can come back from. This is almost a no turning point for him. It's very similar to, when Goku and Vegeta decided to use the Potara earrings, that it was only for a survival situation. It was something when they realized, like, it's either this or we're gone. So it's not something that Toppo was just hiding, that he was holding back. I mean, he was in a sense, but it was more so the fact that this is going to change who he is from this point forward. So now that he is this God of Destruction Toppo, he can no longer go back from that and continue to be just about justice and all that stuff. He has decided to fully engulf his role as the next God of Destruction of Universe 11. And while we're on this subject, I actually want to try to go ahead and attempt to clarify some stuff here. Now, I know a lot of people are confused and they assume that Universe 11 now has 2 Gods of Destruction. Now, I don't think that that is allowed. I'm not sure. There's no official clarification on this, but I'm assuming that Toppo is now just going to have an apprentice role, much similar to the way the Supreme Kais work, like how Zamasu was. He was an apprentice to become a Supreme Kai. So I think that that is just going to be Toppo's role from now on, where before he was just training, much like Goku and Vegeta was, with the Angel to learn God Ki. And I mean, he was obviously much more on the fence about actually becoming a God of Destruction, where Vegeta and Goku just want to train to get stronger. So I think that he just can no longer, he's kind of stuck in that role now. Now he is officially become an apprentice. He's probably just going to end up being a bodyguard until Belmod officially retires from his God of Destruction role. So that's just something that I wanted to clear up and help people out with a lot of their confusion. So it's not so much that there are now 2 Gods of Destruction. Yes, I know that is what he is called, but he is just still an apprentice until Belmod is out of the picture. And to wrap up the whole topic of Toppo, I want to go ahead and talk about how I feel that his power, this new God of Destruction power form, was revealed too soon. And it honestly, if it was up to me and if I was the writer, I would have made that the twist after Jiren was defeated. I would have had Goku and Vegeta take down Jiren, and then Toppo be like, okay, I'm the last hope. This is something I have to do now. And then reveal this new source, because it's really hard for me to imagine Jiren being that much stronger than what we see Toppo and his new power with this God of Destruction form. It seems crazy overpowered. And I mean, the way that he was manhandling Frieza was very similar to how effortless Jiren is fighting against Vegeta and Goku. And granted, I know that Vegeta and Goku are on a much higher level than Golden Frieza right now, but it is still pretty hard to imagine Jiren being that much stronger. And I would imagine a God of if Toppo is truly going to be the next God of Destruction, this new power should be way beyond what Jiren is capable of. And I know that they said Jiren was stronger than a God of Destruction, but I think they just meant Belmod, because maybe Belmod wasn't very powerful, or maybe even one of the other God of Destructions weren't that powerful, but Toppo is obviously extremely, extremely powerful. So, like I said, if it were me, I think it would have been a lot cooler for them to have this be a twist on the whole series, on the whole arc, actually, because, they've been building up since the beginning, Goku versus Jiren, and it just would have been a mind blow for everyone if it would have ended up being Goku versus Toppo, where Toppo is the actual, most badass dude from Universe 11, where he was just, holding back from using this God of Destruction form because he knew that it was going to change his life after that. But again, that's just me kind of being nitpicky about the episodes so far, because I mean, we're down to 6 episodes left in the series. I mean, there's 6 episodes until Dragon Ball Super is off the air. So I'm just kind of really, picking at the episodes now, because I expect them to be great episodes, which they have been, but I'm just kind of, telling you guys what I would do if I were the writers and how I would want the series to go off with a bang. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with the way that they're doing it now. It's really cool to see Toppo have this power. I honestly slept on him pretty hard. I thought Golden Frieza versus Toppo was going to be a pretty even match. And I mean, it would have been if Toppo didn't have this God of Destruction thing. And now that he does, it is crazy how strong he actually is. So I'm very excited for next week to see what Toppo is going to do against someone as strong as Vegeta. But man, the way that Toppo was handling Frieza though, I gotta talk about this because I honestly was on a roller coaster of emotions while watching this. Like I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, I hated Frieza. I couldn't stand him. I thought he sucked. I'm so glad that they got rid of him. I hated his first little form. He looked like such a little pipsqueak, but I understand that was the whole point of him, was that he was this crazy menacing guy, but he was just this little scrawny looking dude that you didn't really expect much from. And now in Super, like, I've really grown to love him as a character. Like, he is just so cool. I don't know. It's just, I'm kind of beating myself up that why didn't I see this about Frieza, from the beginning? I should have always liked him because he's not like, he hasn't changed. He's still the same character. It's just for some reason, I appreciate him more. And maybe it's the fact that, that we're not worried about him messing with Goku and them. I mean, we still kind of are. And that is kind of actually one of the things that I love about him, is that he's such like a high risk situation every time he's on the screen that you don't know if he's going to betray the universe or not, because there's always been rumors that was the plan with him. So, it's just everything about his character as a whole, like, I just love. So watching him go up against Toppo, even before when he's just playing with them, he sees Toppo get this new God of Destruction form, and he's still continuously just like talking trash to him. And it was awesome to see Toppo put the hurt on someone that powerful. But at the same time, it was like, no, come on. I had such high hopes for Golden Frieza. I wanted Golden Frieza to do some real damage to Toppo, but like, I didn't know how to feel. Like, I was excited and then I was worried. I didn't want Frieza to get eliminated at the same time. Like, it would have made the episode so much cooler if he would have got eliminated, because then it really would have it would have had Toppo, make his mark in the episode with this new form. And I mean, just the way he was handling Frieza already did, but it just would have made the episode that much more suspenseful to be like, oh shoot, they're really throwing people out right now. So I just really wanted to bring that to everyone. I wanted to talk to everyone about that because it really left me feeling uneasy how Frieza was being treated. But anyways, we were left off with Frieza being knocked out and almost being thrown out of the ring, but then 17 miraculously saves him with a rock throw. Maybe that was what they were talking about in the spoilers, even though that's a little dramatic of them to say that 17 is attacking with rocks. But anyway, so Frieza gets hit and he's lying there unconscious, almost knocked out of the ring. And I find that very interesting that they are keeping him around, because like, that is just adding more to that suspense that I was talking about, that Frieza is still going to be a wild card in this. Like, yeah, he's knocked out right now where he's not going to really be in the picture, but now we know that he's still going to be lurking around. So when it comes down to maybe Goku and Vegeta versus Jiren, or if it comes down to 2-on-2 where it's Goku and Vegeta versus Jiren and Toppo, or maybe when it's just Goku against Jiren, that Frieza is still going to be there and he's going to pull something and we don't know what that thing is. So it's really cool that they did that, but at the same time, it's nerve-wracking for me. I want to know what they have in plan for this guy. And what's crazy is I don't want to, reach too hard here, but maybe there is actually something to that Super Dragon Ball Heroes cutscene where we saw Jiren versus Goku and Frieza. Now, it was very random when we first saw it that those were the two that they chose to have in the tournament against Jiren for that cutscene. You would think that it would just be Goku and Jiren, and they had Frieza in there for no reason. And a lot of people were overlooking it and saying not to think too much about it because it was just for Super Dragon Ball Heroes. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens in that game. But maybe they were actually showing us something, because it's something that a lot of us, really didn't think would be the end result. Because, with Vegeta getting his new form, and with Toppo getting his new God of Destruction thing, and then seeing Frieza get manhandled. So it's kind of like they showed us, and then they're misleading us by, showing that Frieza was getting his butt kicked by just Toppo. So how could he end up being one of the last two? But I think that would be such a great twist for, in the end, for, Frieza basically to be unconscious and let everyone do their work. Even when he wakes up, he's just going to lay low because he realized, like, whoa, these last two dudes are nuts. Like, I can't really do anything. But then when it comes down to the end, it would be such a great twist to have pretty much the two biggest rivals in Dragon Ball Z to be the remaining factor to defend Universe 7 in this tournament. So I think it'd be something that would catch everyone off guard. It'd be something that'd be really cool to see, because you never would have thought in your wildest dreams that it would come down to Goku and Frieza working as a team against a common enemy. So who knows? Maybe that was actually showing us something. But again, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying that is confirmation that that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying that it's very interesting just to keep in your mind for later on once we get closer to the finale of this arc. But now let's move on to talk about 17 and how he is honestly coming in so clutch over and over and over again in this tournament. Now, a lot of people, were excited to see 17 rejoin the fighters, but no one really expected him to be doing as much work as he's been doing. Like, this dude has really come in handy a lot of times. He's honestly up there with candidates for MVPs, because not only has he improved in his strength by a lot, which a lot of people were surprised by. This dude is definitely a lot stronger than a lot of people gave credit for. And on top of that, his combat strategy is on another level. Like, I know he's an android, but I never saw this side of 17 before. Even, back in Dragon Ball Z, they weren't really doing strategies. Him and 18 were just kind of, toying around with people. They just had a lot of, I don't know how to explain it. They just synced really well together. So there was never really a lot of strategy involved with them. But now seeing him in this tournament, even, when he had a fight with Gohan, Gohan was trying to overthink things, and he's like, look, dude, just chill. We got this. We've never fought together. You do you, I do me. We'll eventually get this dude down. Don't worry about it. So it's really impressive to see him actually be a teammate. So it's really cool to see this development in his character. But it looks like he's going to be having his hands full next week when he has to try to take on Toppo by himself before Jiren steps in. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he's going to be able to survive against that. But that pretty much wraps up my review for this week's episode. Go ahead and comment down below what you guys thought of my review and what you guys thought about the episode itself. Do you guys agree with me that it was a 6-star rated episode, or do you feel that it should have been rated higher or lower? Also, if you guys feel that I maybe missed something or I didn't go over something well enough, please leave that down below in the comment section, because I appreciate any kind of criticism, whether it be good or bad. That way I can always try to improve to bring you guys better content. But other than that, make sure you guys hit subscribe if you're not already, and don't forget the notification bell. You guys can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook, where I'll be posting my AMVs. I already posted 2 on there, and I'm only posting them on Facebook so that way I don't get copyright strikes here on YouTube. So if you're into AMVs, make sure you guys stop by over there just to check them out. You guys don't even have to like the page or follow it or anything. I really just want to try to get it out there, because I put a lot of hard work into these AMVs. So I would just want people to see, so I can get feedback, so that way I know where I can improve in that and try to do better for the next one. But thank you guys so much again for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you guys give a thumbs up to show your support. But that's all for me. I will catch you guys later.